Polan Stronk. And I've been over Polan Stronk before, spoken about how there's a lot of love for Poland in the world, and rightfully so.
Mhm.
They're actually one of the few countries in Europe that has been, every single year, I suppose every 5 years, just to make it a proper curve, been getting significantly better and, well, have now become quite the envy of Western Europe. Their growth rates in just quality of life, GDP per capita, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. And the response from that has been a big old question because we were told we needed mass migration to have such things. They had none, and yet they've got way better.
Mhm.
And
It
we've
is
stacked
also worth mentioning as well, because people slag us off on the left for being so anti-immigration, but the Poles, you do a good job. You work harder than us. You're always nice to us.
But they're not
I've never
pro-mass.
had I've never had a bad interaction. In fact, there are some Polish people drinking lager on a bench outside of my apartment, and they're playing classical music, and I was just like, oh, you legends, classing the place up.
Oh, Posutski, I heard you speaking earlier.
They were drinking in public, but doing it in such a way where it actually elevated the
neighborhood.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll start off with just promoting something because house prices in Poland are obviously better. A lot of Poles have not only returned, but are now staying in Poland because, well, things are getting better than going or anywhere else in Europe.
Can we move there?
You can.
Me and you, Callum.
We need to go get a
Let's
work
go
visa
together.
or something, but I'm sure we can figure something out. So I thought I'd promote this house prices podcast that Dan did with these two developers about the UK situation because it's a really good podcast. I watched it and I liked it. So there you go. I'm not giving it any more than that because that's the truth. I liked it. I think you might. There we are. So moving on to Poland. The elections in 2 days.
Oh, nice.
Now, Polish elections, who gives a crap, would be the usual response you'd meet from a British person because they don't care about our own elections, never mind anyone else's. Rightfully so. But you can see here in Poland, 2023 elections coming up. And I am hype because Poland's future is something I'm weirdly invested in on a basis of I really want them to do well because they've done well following the ideological position of not being insane. And I'd quite like the ideological position of not being insane to come home.
Mhm.
I'd quite like us to stop some of that non-insanity. And you can see it doing quite well in recent years. And this isn't to delve into Polish politics and to tell you which party you should be voting for if you're a Pole or anything like
The
that.
Law and Justice would be a good start.
Well, it's not my place. It's not my place at all, foreign elections. You make your own mind up. But we can, as foreigners, sit in awe at the achievements you have. And even the left in the Slavic world is way better than our left. I spoke to my good friend in Serbia about this a lot, where he's like, yeah, here's our leftists. And then you meet them, and they're like conservatives in this country. You're like, oh. So they believe in some Marxist stuff, but also they're like, why would I import loads of Albanians? What are you, mental?
Yeah, I think they also have a good memory of the Soviet Union.
Reality.
Yes.
It's weird that. But you can see here, the party that's been in power, Law and Justice there. There are some other minor parties. The main opposition, I think, being
They
these
even
guys.
have a libertarian conservative party. I wish we had one of those in Britain.
Which one are you looking at there?
Um,
Federation?
yes.
We're going to get back to them.
Are we?
They're good, interesting boys.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. And I think I'll scroll down here. You can see the polls and that Law and Justice Party, the main right-wing one.
Mhm.
Whatever. I don't want to get into Polish internal politics, but one thing they have done successfully has been, well, keep Poland standing. Whereas in Western Europe, we have not been prioritizing keeping our own country standing. So I'm not surprised that they have at least
Keeping other countries standing instead, haven't we?
And the main opposition here being the a more EU orientated party.
Boo.
So naturally inclined, I kind of hate that because of the English. So, but I don't know anything about the details. But you can see this black line here at the bottom. That's Confederation, and they've had a bit of a boost recently.
Ooh.
It'd be interesting to see where they go because they started out, I think it was like 6% since the last election. And the reason I'm doing this segment and talking about some weird Polish elections is, oh boy, you're going to be interested when you find out about all of them because they're funny, funny guys. So we'll start off with Confederation, shall we? The far-right coalition tipped to be the kingmakers here, the Guardian right. Now, of course, the Guardian being a leftist, bedbug supporting.
No way, I never knew that.
Do you know they support bedbugs now?
What?
We did a segment the other day. It turns out that they wrote an article arguing that we need to live with the bugs.
Oh, is this some sort of vegan nonsense, is it, that you can't kill the bed bugs?
No, they hired a bedbug as a writer, and he started writing out about how you should leave blood lying around. And I'm exaggerating, but sincerely, there was an article being like, we should just live with the bugs instead of trying to exterminate them. And I was like, what the hell is this? Anyway, so...
It's like saying to someone, just like, you should just live with cancer, you know?
So the cancer-supporting, bedbug-supporting outlet in the West is very scared that if Confederation are able to get more power, they'll be the kingmakers in Poland. And thank Christ, because I don't support bed bugs. So you can see here, they write, I'll just leave the image up. So people can, actually, I'll get the image of Christoph over here, because he's a nice guy. I met him. He's all right. There's a quotes from them. The bed bugs. The bed bugs write, the big political battle in Sunday's Polish parliamentary election may be between the ruling Law and Justice Party, PiS. That's their acronym.
PIS, yeah.
Yeah, but they're called PiS.
If you say so.
No, even like when you discuss them, you call them PiS. That's how actually you pronounce. Because you don't say the full
There's some
name.
sort of reverse psychology where if they willingly adopt a name that sounds insulting, people will like them more.
Well, it doesn't mean anything in Polish.
I know that, yeah, but
Well, they probably mostly speak a lot of
I'm not being serious, Callum.
No, but I do just kind of find it funny. Anyway, so the PiS party, they've been doing a good job, so vote PiS if you want more of the same, I suppose. They're seeking a third term in office, 5 more years of PiS. And the opposition, the Civic platform, look at that. That's their acronym is PO, so they're poo.
What is this? The
I'm
podcast to the 12-year-olds?
I'm actually going to become a 12-year-old.
Commentary.
No, but come on, that is kind of weird. Anyway, so the Civic platform, they're led by Donald Tusk. You may remember him.
Of course.
From the EU years, the years of lead we lived through. God, it was
the dark
awful.
years.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Things never get better for the UK. Anyway, he's the former Prime Minister and European Council President, so he's the Euro pause over there. But with polls suggesting that neither side will actually have the votes to form a government outright, the decisive say in who rules Poland for the next 4 years could lie in Confederation. So this is Christoph over here, chap pictured on screen here, and a bunch of other his friends.
He's doing an Ayatollah thing. Oh, no.
Yeah, he's the Islamic side of the party. I don't think he'll like me saying that, actually.
No. Yeah, sorry for insulting you like that.
No, he's a very nice guy. Well, we went for drinks with him when we were in Poland a while back, me and Carl, and it was just a laugh, frankly. And you know you can have a good time with someone politically, regardless of your differences or similarities, when they're just good fun.
Mm-hmm.
There is actually something to that, because you hang out with the left and they're never good fun.
Yeah, rather than campaigning and having manifestos, you should just have a drink with your local representatives, and whoever can, has the best pub banter gets voted in.
It's a better system than what we have.
It genuinely is.
So Confederation over here, they say they're a eccentric far-right coalition of nationalists, libertarians, and monarchists. That's how the bedbugs refer to it. We'll check out the Wikipedia page, I suppose. It's Wikipedia, but what are you going to do? Just how they phrase themselves. Pretty good. Just going to say. You can see here, so it's interesting, is really how I should phrase it. You can see the ideology: Polish nationalism, right-wing populism, economic liberalism, and hard Euroscepticism.
These all sound good to me.
I mean, to be honest, yeah. I mean, there's ideological positions. I'm not threatened by any of that. That's for sure. And they got various movements here, as you can see. So that's what the Confederation is, of all these small movements. I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to see more of this in the West, because you have all these factions, the English Democrats, Reform, and UKIP, and blah, blah, blah. We talk about this in the UK a lot. Be nice to see just Confederation set up and have a bunch of parties merge. I mean, you can see here, some of them are quite funny. The National Movement, so there we are, ultra-nationalism. New Hope, so the Libertarians, there you are. Confederation of the Polish Crown, they want the king back. They're very nice guys. The Party of Drivers, so they're literally a one-issue party with wanting to support people who drive cars. Which...
I respect that, actually.
That's just kind of cool.
I don't care about the economy. I don't care about society. I just care about cars.
I just want to drive my car. There's the Grill Party set up in the US.
Polish Jeremy Clarkson runs that party.
Yeah, and then you've got the Union of Christian Families. All right, whatever. And then National League at the bottom there. So just Polish nationalists. Okay.
I don't know why the Libertarian Party in Poland have decided to take their name from a Star Wars film.
Have they? New Hope?
Yeah.
They might just do it because they think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
They're that kind of cool guys. They just engage in culture. It's not weird.
They engage in culture. Is that
it's high praise for a politician.
Yeah. Yeah, the standards are so low these days.
But that's how they describe themselves, or at least how they're described on Wikipedia. And I thought I'd go to the Times to get their perspective on it, because as much as I love the Bedbug outlet, they're just terrible. You can see here, angry young men give far-right upstarts a shot at power. That's how they phrase it.
That's a nice loaded headline, isn't it?
Yeah, they go on to just load the headlines more. Confederation once called for a register of gay people. Yeah, they've rebranded the party and has now become hugely popular with male voters under 30. Mm-hmm. A lot of grinder voters, I suppose.
I mean, if we were to apply that sort of rhetoric to American politics, say, we could say, angry childless women destroy economy, or something like that.
Well, it would, yeah, that's true.
It'd be true, yeah.
Write it.
Yeah, what am I doing here? I need to get writing.
I did love the idea though. There's like we want to register a gay people, and there literally is just Grindr. That's a whole other conversation. So we'll keep Christoph on screen, I suppose, because then he's better eye candy than a block of text. Well, I read the block of text because it's interesting. So they say here they're interviewing a local Polish man, and local Polish man has this to say: "Quote: I like that they tell it like it is, rather than how it should be," said Zygmunt Zapolocki, 27.
Zygmunt Zapolski. That's my attempt.
Grzegorz Przemysłowicz is now the name of all future people in the story. So he was at a rally at Confederation, and he says that they know what normal people want. Grindr. No. Shouldn't go with that joke. Quote, "We shouldn't be forced to do anything we don't want to do," he added.
Whoa, what a radical.
He's in southern Poland. He says, "I don't want to be forced to drive electric cars. Yeah. My children shouldn't be exposed to mandatory LGBTI programs in school." I don't know, what their acronym's weird for some reason. They get LGTBI.
LGTBI.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Anyway, he says he doesn't mind if someone's gay, just don't force it on me. Seems fair enough. Don't have to download Grindr. Seems like the world I want to live in.
That's the Tory MPs.
Mandatory downloads of Grindr on all Samsung devices. That's the Tory party's new pledge. Some surveys have found that up to 50% of men under the age of 40 plan on voting for Confederation. Now that's super unique in all of politics, I think. That you've got all of the men who are all voting for one party.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other time we found this was that South Korean president who literally just ran on the campaign of like, women, and he won. So they say here 46% of those under the age of 21 are also voting for Confederation. So overwhelmingly young men, 40, and even of the 20-year-olds, they're not all like split leftists like it is here. And instead, overwhelmingly men are just like, based, voting Confederation. Why is that? I'll find out. They also say in this article, they want to write the edgy things they've done in the past. So obviously, smear them, I presume, from the Times. They write here they're notorious for extreme antics of its politicians who have been in the past making Nazi salutes in the European Parliament.
Yeah, because I'm sure the Poles are big fans of them.
Yeah, it was to make a point about the EU. They called for a national register of gay people. Again, they don't explain what that is, so until I've given further evidence, because they don't tell me for some weird reason.
I mean, there's also no context for why the register existed in the first place. It could have been like, we're going to give you some free stuff.
A new monkeypox vaccine or something. I'm just going to assume it's literally Grindr until someone tells me what that is, because I'm always skeptical when you read in the media, like, oh, this evil far-right party, they wanted this. And you go, why? And the paper goes, don't ask. Like, okay.
It's just meant to be self-evidently bad, and therefore don't ask questions.
They were arguing for Grindr being available. They also argued that the gay people should be kept away from children, and argued that women should be kept on a chain in the kitchen.
I'm sure that's a literal statement of their opinion and not
a meme
out of context. Yeah.
I mean, again, when you have overwhelmingly all of the young men in the country getting together in one party, I feel like they're going to come up with some funny jokes.
It's basically going to be like a giant locker room, like Poland's biggest locker room, where they're just having a laugh.
Because you've got PIS over there. I mean, PIS are doing their thing of like the normal right-wing party.
Still taking me by surprise.
They're still called PIS. What do you want? Anyway, but Confederation are the more funny ones. That's why I'm focusing on them. And but both of these parties are apparently what is going to be making up the Polish parliament in, 3 days. That's if Confederation won a coalition. If not, PIS will just be in charge. So there we are. They also go on to argue some other things they've done. One of their leaders once called for a 5-point plan, like Stalin. He came out and said he wants a Poland without Jews, gays, abortion, tax, or the European Union, which is a weird list.
Yeah, that's quite a smorgasbord, isn't it?
Again, they don't go on to explain what any of that means, so I'm not trusting, I'll be honest. They go on to say, it now trades heavily on a blend of nationalism, small government libertarianism, and Brussels bashing Euroscepticism. So that's the path.
Sign me up. Yeah, that's my politics in a nutshell.
I mean, if you actually, let's say they were terrible and now they've reformed. Okay, that's a good advert. It will also try to capitalize on the current in Polish society situation, which is that they're increasingly unsure about supporting Ukraine. Like, okay, well, we'll help Ukraine and everything else, but I'm not literally giving you all of my clothes. You can't have everything. So they end this off with a quote. The pillars of our program are traditional values, defense, civic freedom, especially participating in the free market, less regulation, and defense of the sovereignty of Poland. That's Krzysztof Bosak over there saying all of that. He's the Confederation's leader at this point. He says, we are not a party that uses anti-Semitic rhetoric to draw in voters. So that's all bunk, which I'm inclined to believe him, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I spoke to him as well, he would say something that's like really weird. And then you would be like, wait, what do you mean exactly? And he would explain. You'd be like, oh, well, that's perfectly normal. So the situation they were dealing with was kind of insane at one point. He was telling us about. So what would happen is some Jews who lived in Poland who escaped the Holocaust and made it to the United States, they die. And then for some weird reason, because of legal BS, Jewish organizations who had nothing to do with the dead person tried to start claiming property rights over property that person owned in Poland before the Holocaust, because of course the whole situation was a mess, and then communism happened, and it's just a whole mess of who owns what to that end. But it's okay when someone's family comes to you and talks about this, but like a Jewish group that had nothing to do with the deceased person were just like, yeah, that belongs to us. So of course the Polish government would just like go to hell.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity for them to get free gibs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if I start claiming property for dead Anglos across the world, like, that's just me stealing. That's not me helping anyone.
Bad idea, though, is it?
Anyway.
I claim that pensioners' nice sort of mansion in Spain. Yeah. I'll have that. That's mine.
But when you explain that with any of the context, it sounds a bit mad. But anyway, but Christoph over there, he's leading it. That's them, and they're going to be the kingmakers in 3 days, apparently, if the polls be believed. They're only going up, which is certainly interesting to say the least. And then
you say the polls or the polls?
Polls.
I didn't clear it up.
Polls in the polls.
Right. Fair enough.
Who are voting for Piss.
I give up.
or the other one. Second party.
This is really difficult to keep my composure. The 12-year-old in my head, every time you say that.
Number 2 party. Anyway, but for people who want to find out more in their own words, we have spoken to Cordovan Mickey before. He's a prominent member of Confederation. I mean, I have had some good fun with him, of course. There's that. I mean, I did love sorry, before we get to that, just this thumbnail. I mean, this is a joke. He didn't actually say that, but he's just a funny guy. We were interviewing him, and he brought up the Confederate flag before we'd set up.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Poland for the...
You see, like, Cole's a little bit uneasy. Because we cut to him, and we were like, why do you have a Confederate flag? And he's like, oh, his name is Confederation. Oh, it's funny. And Cole was like, that's kind of a bad thing in the United States. And he was like, what? Because he told them that it's like the Nazi party, and he's just like, Nazis? No. But no, interesting guy. Very interesting to say the least. I spoiled it a little bit. A man who likes a good meme. Message to the editors. Censor out the anus here. That's probably not allowed on YouTube. Although nude yoga's on YouTube. I don't know if that's allowed. But...
YouTube is controlled by Silicon Valley, and they've probably got some sort of weird new age justification.
Yeah.
Is that... the internet has destroyed my ability to trust anything. Is that an actual woman, or is that a man dressed as a woman?
I
suppose we'll never know.
I presume it's a woman. Anyway, but Corvin likes to engage in the culture as well. And this is what I mean by the interesting aspect of Confederation. I mean, agree or disagree with their policies, it's a whole other issue. I'm not getting into Polish politics. But the way they do politics is certainly interesting from an outside perspective, because they have fun. And I think that probably comes from the demographics. That's not lie. There's a bit of just young men being prats about all of this. Which,
I mean, I know nothing about having fun talking about politics. What is this?
But when you become an old man, you don't stop being a prat. Cordovan Mickey, and I mean that's a good thing, by the way. Poles who are watching this, it's an endorsement.
It's a term of endearment.
Because Cordovan Mickey did a thing a while back that I've been struggling to find. For some reason, it was deleted. I think I found out once I translated the lyrics.
Oh, I can see the thumbnail, and I can see a few reasons why it might be deleted.
I can't. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a portion. I've added some subtitles. Sadly, I can't play the whole thing because he goes on to talk about stuff that I'll say after the stream ends. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Can't say it on YouTube.
If you're on the audience, too bad.
Yeah, you have to go to lotusheaters.com to find out what he was talking about fully. Or go and read the translation, I suppose. We'll endorse this. For some reason, music videos are a thing in Polish politics, and Cordovan Mickey decided to do one.
Tutaj pan Zbigniew nominował do tego Hot 16 Challenge.
Imagine looking out your window.
I didn't realise it was next to a road as well.
Yeah. Mom, the libertarian next door's gonna come.
Jestem straszny, Korwin-Mikke się wpieprzył w politykę, by zrobić oczywistą, stawić czoła socjalistom, po wsadzeniu już za kraty ostatniego demokrata. Tutaj pan Zbigniew nominował do tego Hot 16 Challenge, a ja z kolei nominuję kolegów Konrada Berkowicza, kolegę Grzegorza Brauna i kolegę Artura Dziambora.
So he's challenging all his colleagues to
Mhm.
also engage in the
I
challenge there.
would immediately vote for anyone who waves around guns and swords. I think that is just a given. No matter the context, no matter the policies, that's an immediate vote in my mind.
He made a campaign promise there to put every Democrat behind bars. And he means that in the case of people who believe in democracy, I presume, because they don't have Democrats in Poland. These are monarchists, I believe, as well. So there we are. But anyway, I mean, if your political candidates, I suppose is that muted? I can barely tell because
Not anymore.
There we are.
It is now.
I'll just play it so you can see the video as well. I mean, if this was your politician, I'm just saying politics is better in Poland. The wild, wild east is more fun. And good luck to them all in the elections. And Poland indeed strunk. If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on the Canadian truckers. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.